Hello again, everybody. How are you doing? I was in the process of uploading the video of my stepdad, um, Dave, and I realized that I forgot a story that I probably should talk about. Like, I was just gonna I was thinking of just leaving it out and just leaving it alone. But I decided that it is something that I probably should share because it is a significant thing that happened. And I honestly, I was struggling with my first video, trying to remember everything because, like I said, I've just recently been diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm struggling with just a lot of different things. And as I was doing the video, I also was remembering that I still have like all this stuff that I have to do yet tonight, and just so I was like multi-focused on different things. So I'm sorry that I left this part out, and that I have to make a part two to my hour-long video. I promise this one won't be that long. I do have to say this is a trigger warning video. This video involves gun violence and domestic violence, and I think that's the worst of the trigger warning is the gun violence specifically. So when I was talking in the first video about how my mom would antagonize Dave into him being domestically violent with her, I also forgot to mention that the cops were literally at our house at least once a week, sometimes more. It just depended on the week. And I'm sorry about the sun, how it's coming through. Kind of looks like I have crimped hair, which is flashback from the 80s. But anyway, I just wanted to get this done because again, it is part of, it should have been in part one, but like I said, I got distracted, and I was already remembering so many things, and it's hard to bring these memories up and talk about them and remember the fear and the feelings and the pain and just all the stuff that comes with remembering a traumatic event. And so again, I'm sorry that I left these. I did not mean to purposefully leave this out. Okay, so with the cops being at our house at least once a week, my brother and I, were known in school as those kids from that house, the crazy house, we just had a bad reputation because everybody knew that with the cops always being there and my stepdad always being taken away, and then of course being allowed to come home that night because my mom would always drop the charges and he'd come back home, everybody just knew that we were the crazy house. And well, because we were the kids from the crazy house, we got made fun of in school and didn't have friends. And well, my brother had friends, I didn't really. But anyway, like I said, the cops were there all the time, there were several times that they had to come into the house, and they would literally like see my brother and I in the house, and you know, you could tell that, I mean, just by looking at us, like me, because I usually had bruises, like you could tell that the abuse wasn't just happening to my mom, but for some reason in the 80s, like the cops didn't care. Like they didn't care. They didn't try to stop anything. They didn't get involved. They didn't ask questions. Neither did teachers, et cetera, et cetera. Again, there's a reason for all of that, but that plays into where I'm going. So anyway, they would see that, you know, it wasn't just my mom, but, you know, also the kids were also not being treated well. But again, because of the time period and the lack of child abuse services, we just got kind of like ignored. So at one point, my mom ended up buying a gun, and I don't quite remember how old I was when she bought that. I think I was around 9, which just reminded me that I have so much more I have to share about my mom. Anyway, I'll get to that eventually. So she had bought a gun. I think my stepdad was in Korea at the time that she bought the gun. She bought it for a specific purpose I'm not going to get into right now, because that's not part of the story that involves my stepdad. I remember when she brought it home and she showed it to me, I remembered just thinking, oh my God, my crazy ass mom has a gun. This isn't gonna end well. And she kept it up in her room, and some time went by, and Dave came back from, I believe it was his second time in Korea. I left out that Dave also suffered from PTSD, and he would often have night terrors where he would wake up screaming names of, I'm assuming, friends that he watched be killed or get killed or whatever. Because I mean, he had been in combat. So he had PTSD. He had night terrors. He would, like I said, he would wake up screaming people's names. He would all of a sudden take off out of bed and run through the house as if he had like a rifle or a big military type gun in his, you know, however they freaking carry these things. Like, he'd be running through the house carrying this invisible military rifle, probably a machine gun, I don't know. And he would it'd be like he was lost in a battle, or he was, I don't know, he was experiencing some sort of memory that obviously happened to him while he was either in Korea or another place he fought, which I don't know of any other places than Korea. Those are the only two places he ever mentioned being or having to go back to. But anyway, he would just have these night terrors running through the house, just screaming. And after a while, he would, I don't know if he would just wake up or if he would just snap out of it. I really don't know. But he would come out of it and he would just be a little bit weird, obviously. And usually he'd go back to bed, or he'd go up to my mom's room, and we wouldn't see him because I don't know. I don't know what he did. But regardless, so he also had, besides being a sadistic asshole, he also clearly had mental health issues from the things he had been through, the things he had seen and done. And I remember that I was playing in our basement, which was, it was my dad's workshop when he lived there before the divorce. And after he moved out, that empty room had all these handmade wooden like shelves and like all these neat places that my brother and I would store our toys and whatnot. So it was like our toy room. So I was down there and I believe I was, I want to say I was probably 9. Probably 9. Or maybe I was between 9 and 11, but I'm pretty sure I was 9. Although I could have been 11. I know I wasn't 10 because a lot of other things happened that year. This didn't happen that year. But anyway, I'm playing with my Barbie dolls in the basement, and I hear a really loud bang. And instantly, like, I am panicked. Like, so I didn't know at the time what panic or anxiety was, because, well, I knew what the feelings were, but I didn't know what the names of them were because I hadn't been diagnosed with a panic disorder at that point. But I had all of the feelings of panic and anxiety, and it's like I knew something was really, really wrong, because right after this really loud bang I had never heard before, I could hear my mom screaming my name. And so I remember running up the basement stairs to the middle floor. And as I was running through the kitchen into the living room, my mom is still screaming my name, to which I would reply, like, what, what's going on? And she says, call the cops. He's trying to kill me. And I instantly realized my stepdad has my mom's gun. And I realized he has shot that gun in our house. And my mom is saying he's trying to kill her. I run back from the living room back into the kitchen where our phone is. And I take get the receiver off the thing, and I dial 911, and it felt like it took forever for them to answer. Now, as they're answering, I hear my stepdad scream, "You little bitch, you better not call 911 or I'll fucking kill you." And I can hear him starting to, like starting his way, coming down, like coming to where I am. So they finally answer. And I say something like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something like, "My stepdad has my mom's gun. He's already fired it. He's trying to kill us. Please hurry." Now, they already knew my address because we called all the time. So the female who answered said, "We're sending an officer right now." And I was like, okay, great. And I dropped the phone. Like, I didn't even hang it up. I just dropped it and I ran. And I was panicking, so I wasn't really thinking clearly. I knew I needed to hide. But again, I'm a child. Like, I don't really know what to do. We do have a door that goes to the backyard that's off to the side and in the same room that I'm in, but I don't think of going outside because I want to make sure that my mom is okay, but I know I need to hide because I can hear Dave coming down the stairs. I hear him screaming my name. I hear him saying, "When I get you, I'm gonna fucking kill you." Like, so I run back down into the basement. I know I should have run outside. I know. But I was a kid and I was panicking and I didn't want to leave my mom. So I did what I did. So I go down to the basement. And as I'm down there, I'm like, okay, where am I going to hide? And I'm like looking around. And we had this little, so our house was over like 100 years old. And it had this slotted, I want to say it was a canning room where you would put your canned goods, because it had, like, when you opened the door, it had all these like shelves all over it. And I remember at one point there was a lot of really old, really dusty, dirty jars of like food that had been stored from previous owner or whatever. And so I remember, I'm thinking about, because I'm standing right there. I'm standing right next to that thing, that room, storage area, whatever. And I'm realizing, like, this is my best option because there's no other place to hide. And he's still coming. I can hear he is getting closer. He is very angry at me. He is telling me he is going to kill me. Like, and I don't even know at this point if my mother's been shot. I have no idea because I don't hear her. And well, I hear her scream, "Run, Kim." You know, I hear her say, "Run," you know, my name. And then that's when I hear him coming down the stairs. And so I run down to the basement. Anyway, I know there's a ton of boxes in this old can storage thing. So I open the door and I look in and I see there's like all these boxes, and I see that there's just this small enough space that I can crawl into to get behind the boxes. So I get in there, I crawl behind the boxes, and I move boxes like in front of me. So if he opens the door, he's not going to see a way for me to get behind the boxes. So he's probably not going to think I'm there. I just get the boxes moved over. I just get settled, and I hear him now coming down the basement stairs. And I'm just like, I'm like praying, and I'm like holding my breath, and I'm trying really hard not to make just any noise. And then I realized this was really not a smart idea. Not because of what you think, but because I realized I am in a spider's nest or spider's web, and I have spiders crawling all over me. And I want to scream so badly because I hate spiders. I've always hated spiders, and they've always scared me. And at this point, I realized if I make a peep with all these spiders crawling on me in this moment, he's going to find me, and I'm either going to get a really bad beating or he's actually going to kill me. I have no idea. So I just take a breath and just try to pretend that the things crawling all over me are anything but spiders, like ladybugs, caterpillars, cute little things. I can see him through the slats of this, I used to call it a pickle cellar, because the jars that used to be in there, they were jars of old pickles that somebody had canned a long time ago before we moved in, because of how much dust and crap was all over them. Like, it'd been a long time. Anyway, I referred to it as the pickle cellar when I talked about it, like with my brother or, to anybody else that inquired. Like, if we occasionally had a friend or two that would come over when Dave was not home, and they'd always want to know what this room was. So I'd say, oh, it's a pickle cellar. Well, you put, like, when you do canning and stuff, you put your canned goods in there, just like, anyway. So but it was made with these slats of wood, and so I can see out, but because I'm in the pitch dark, so as I'm looking out, I'm looking into the lit up basement. Now, because he's in the light, he can't see me through the dark, or through the slats in the dark. So he does not know that I am in there. But I see he has that gun in his hand, and he is mad, and he is looking for me. He goes into every single room. I hear him flipping shit over. He is still screaming my name. He is telling me if he finds me, he is going to kill me. And he walks past me. He goes into the room over here. He's flipping everything, like looking in all the places I could be and screaming. And he comes out of that room. I see him walk past me this way. He goes into this room. Again, ransacks that room. He walks out of that room, goes into the laundry room, which is, straight back. At this point, he knows that he's not going to find me where he's looking, because he's already looked in all the places I could possibly be, except where I actually am. Now, I'm hearing police sirens, so I'm like, oh, thank God, they're going to be here soon. And I can see him just enough I can see him go, oh. And he drops his head down, he drops his shoulders down, and he knows that these cops are coming for him. He knows that I called the police on him, and they're coming for him. And he's just like, you fucking little bitch. And he walks past me and goes upstairs to meet the cops. I stay where I am. I do not move. I do not breathe. I do not make a single noise. These spiders are still crawling all over me, but I have no idea when it's safe to come out. I don't know, because I don't know what's going on upstairs. I hear the police are talking to him. I have no idea when or if they are going to disarm him. Because I can't hear in detail what they're saying. I can just hear them say, we got a call from a kid, something about a gun, something about her mom, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I don't know what they're saying. It lasts about, excuse me, about 10 minutes. And then I hear him say, can I at least go downstairs to get my clothes out of the dryer before I go with you? Because he was just wearing a pair of like sweatpants. Like he didn't have, I don't know if he had anything else on but the sweatpants. But anyway, so, and they were like, yeah, an officer, no, he had two officers escort him. So all three of them come down to the basement and pass me, and they go into the laundry room, and I hear him open the dryer and pull out the clothes, and then they're all three talking as he's getting dressed, and I'm still in Spiderland, holding my breath, trying not to make a peep. Part of me's thinking, hey, I can come out now because the cops are here. But then the other part of me is going, no, you have to stay here, because if this ever happens again, he doesn't know where you are. You know, if you ever are too stupid to run outside and you come back downstairs. You know, they do it in the horror movies, you know, instead of running out the door, they go upstairs or down, you know, whatever. I think it's just a natural thing. I don't know. Anyway, so after he gets dressed, I watch the three of them through the slats come back by me and then go up the stairs, which, like, I'm literally under the stairs in this slatted wooden thing. But anyway, so I hear them going up the stairs because literally it's right above my head. And then as soon as I hear them at the front door, and my mom, like, is saying, don't take him, like it was all just a mistake, yada yada, and they're just like, he has to come and be processed. You can come get him later tonight. And I'm thinking, are you crazy? Like, he just tried to kill you and he was coming after me, and you're thinking about going to get him out of jail tonight? Like, what the hell? Like I'm like my brain cannot comprehend why this woman wants to go get him out of jail after what he just did. Anyway, I hear them leave the house with him. I think my mom went outside she went outside with them. I finally realized I can leave Spiderland. So I like just stand up and like start, you know, shaking and jumping and squealing, and like I run out of that room, and I'm still like doing this like dance thing where I'm like spinning in circles and flinging these things off me, and then finally I feel like I don't have any more on me. I have no idea if I did or not. Anyway, I go upstairs. I see my brother is sitting in a cop car. One of the cops tells me to go sit in the cop car with him. They end up taking Dave in a different car to jail. And then later on that night, he comes home. And he acts like nothing happened and everything is fine, I guess, from that point of view. Anyway, there's that. My phone is telling me it's out of storage. I gotta go. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you later.